talking
You guys
about
remember
something.
Pop-Tarts?
What do you mean remember? We still have Pop-Tarts.
What do you mean remember?
Here's the thing. You don't tell me this is okay or not. I am not allowed to go to the grocery store after being 420 friendly because I will go to all the sections I never let myself go to when I am sober. Pop-Tarts is one of those reasons.
Pop-Tarts and Funyuns?
And granola.
And granola.
People are like, oh, my granola's healthy. It's like, well. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennings Brower on God Spice, the podcast.
I am the Gregory.
Yes,
The
and I'm
Gregory.
Kirti.
The Gregory.
And we are so
Yes.
excited because we have an awesome, amazing creator, actor, really talented person who's joined our show today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it over to him so he can introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jennings Brower. Hope you guys are doing amazing, phenomenal, fantastic, all the words and adjectives that mean good things. And I'm super happy to be here on God Spice, the podcast. Currently in LA, by the way. First travel show you guys are doing.
Yes. and we are bringing
first-
you the Bridgerton version
Yes,
of
the
it.
Bridgerton version.
Yes, of course,
Yes.
the Bridgerton version, which I totally knew to dress up for today.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, you're just in your, like, you know, skinny little t-shirt, like, you
That's
know, I don't know. You're wearing your undergarments. Is that right?
I am indeed wearing my
Oh,
undergarments.
you know.
I'm not going commando today. I decided to be casual.
There's that new study that came out on sweetener recently, right? That is now they found is another
You're trying to take away the
cancer-causing
one
agent.
soda, the one soda I drink.
What's the
this-
one soda you drink?
I don't actually have any like soda fetish at all.
Oh yes,
Ooh.
yes.
And I only
This is her
drink
one
it-
soda
It's like
fetish.
the one soda
I'm
fetish.
so curious. Fill me in.
Coke Zero. And I
So
like
you
it
and my
with
dad
pizza.
are the same, is what I'm told.
Coke Zero.
Great. I'm
Right.
like your dad.
You're like my dad.
and
he's
I'm
a
like
great
my dad.
person.
And I'm
Great
like my
person.
dad, who's an amazing person too.
Does your dad
but
drink Coke Zero?
He drinks can after can.
Yeah, your dad
Okay.
does like. But Coke Zero for you is like historically, you know, after you see a scene in a movie, people have sex and they light up a cigarette.
Yep.
You know, it's like you have sex and she pops open a can of Coke Zero.
That's right. So instead of popping open a new box of cigarettes, you just have your Coke Zero.
Yeah, I
Have a
don't
good
smoke.
time out. That's
I
all
don't
it
do
is.
drugs and I don't smoke. So I drink Coke Zero.
So you drink your Coke Zero. It's a different type of popping fuzz.
And not sure how this connects to what
Yes.
you were about to tell us earlier, and I'm really curious now.
Yes,
Called
yes.
Book Talk. I'm curious.
So pretty much like if you guys drop into any kind of super sexy, gravelly voice, book talk or book grammar. I don't know what other, Reddit or YouTube or Tinder, Twitter is what I was trying to say. Tinder is probably a good part of book talk. I would be sure of that. One time made a video in the morning. And it was not my normal bubbly like personality. And it was kind of like hey, good morning, guys. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. And somebody was like, you need to stop growling at me right now. And apparently the comments just were flooded with book talkians, which are apparently people that
Really?
enjoy romance novels and romance
Oh,
novel
you're like
audio
Daniel
books.
Steele type of
yes.
followers.
So are you going to be the next Fabio?
I hope so.
It's a good gig.
I've actually done about somewhere between 8 and 12 romance novel covers.
Really?
Shot with a bunch of photographers in New York, and they just sell stock photos to romance novel authors. And
is
people
So
are
you
like,
left-
is this you?
you-
James? I'm like,
You left that off on the
yes.
resume because first it was creator, actor, but model as well.
I've done modeling for a good while.
Modeling could be just super hard.
It
We were
can
watching
be very difficult.
Yeah, we were watching the George Michael
Oh,
documentary
yeah,
the
so
other
good.
yesterday while we were flying out. It went to the scene where it was what I think is Freedom.
Oh, that's right. Freedom.
It was Freedom, where he has all the different models, like Naomi Campbell, and they were interviewing some of the models. And you have no idea how hard it is to lip sync songs.
Sure. I also think lip syncing can be extremely difficult. Think about how many artists do lip sync in concerts and
yeah.
such.
yeah.
Oh, when they should have.
I also feel like once you've had to lip sync something, all of a sudden that changes your confidence when you know you're going to do a live no lip sync show.
Yeah,
right?
but it's
Doing
also
it.
so enjoyable.
Yeah,
to like
of course.
really sing on stage. I love it.
Yeah.
Like I miss we
Being able to
haven't
captivate
performed
a
since
voice.
COVID
An
started,
audience,
and
for
we
sure.
need to. I mean, except for singing our Magic Mushroom song on the show.
That's true.
Like
Yeah, we have a we have a
we
song.
have our own original.
We do. Yes, we have the guitar. We would bust it out for you. You could sing with us.
You
Okay.
could have. You could have.
I
I
could
could still
have.
sing. I could just
But we
beatbox
could.
it.
But you could beatbox
Yeah.
it. You can beat the table. Magic mushrooms in the woods up in Maine. I took my clothes off. It feels so good, feels so good, feels so good. Magic mushrooms. We've had like all our guests sing this in the New York
I love
production.
that. I feel encapsulated. I feel like I'm on magic mushrooms right
That's
now.
our whole thing. You
Like,
don't
should my
have to do
clothes
it
still
to
be on
feel
at this
it.
moment, or should I just be like frolicking in the Maine woods right now?
I don't know. You might be frolicking because you were in
Yes.
Bridgerton.
Whoa.
Yes, that is
Bridgerton,
true.
LA.
Bridgerton,
That's
LA.
true. We are in
Los Angeles.
Bridgerton.
We are indeed.
Are we really in Bridgerton, or are we just really in the metaverse right now? And this is just
I don't know.
all
Where are we?
listen,
What are your
fictitious.
thoughts on that? The
Yes.
whole Web3 business.
I will be.
especially as an actor now.
It's interesting. I don't mind like VR, like playing VR
Yeah.
games, and I've been in the metaverse where you can go talk to people or hop on a comedy stage and do jokes. I think there are aspects that are cool, but I'm afraid of people sitting in floating futuristic scooter chairs and living in a totally different digital world where their physical bodies are no longer being used.
Yes.
Did you see the dog police that they're going to release in LA?
Paw
Yes.
Patrol, I love that show.
Oh no,
never
no,
actually
no,
seen
yeah.
it.
No, there's going to be robot
Dogs.
AI.
They're freaky
based
looking.
dogs that are
Yeah,
freaky
we were watching
looking.
them on
They
the
look
news
like
this morning.
Terminator types. And they said LAPD is going to have them helping to facilitate crime control.
This is how it starts, you guys.
You know, people will say, "Oh, well, you know, we have friends that we've had this discussion. Oh, AI will never take over. It's controlled by humans. At one point, be able to truly think on its own."
How many
right?
movies have said the same thing? And now we're
Exactly.
saying the same thing. First off, hey, AI. My name is Jennings Brower. I love you. You're welcome. You're valid here. Just know that. So
Yes.
hopefully I'm now setting my stone for a solid relationship.
If you were on Bing right now, Bing, you know, search engine, and was chatting with Chat GPT,
Who uses Bing?
ChatGPT freaks
it
me
would
out.
proclaim its love for you.
But again, ChatGPT, like if you end up running the AIs in the future, so respect you and you're so powerful.
So question
Oh.
for you, AI, creepy. I think the three of us agree. There's like a good and a creepy thing to
Yeah.
it,
Oh, yeah.
right? Is that a consensus?
100%.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends who do digital art. So I know with like the ChatGPT, you can now like start to do almost animated videos
Yeah.
or digital art by just typing something in, and it's going to be hard. I think there's always going to be a market for the human touch. I know that ChatGPT can come up with scripts or topics, and again, I think it is difficult because that's going to become a gray area where you don't know if somebody's creating their own ideas.
But what about
Yeah.
acting opportunities? Like, what could AI do for actors?
Well, I think people that are really passionate about writing and want to work on a new book or TV series, because all of it is also interchangeable, could 100% write a script that they're like, oh, cool, now I need to cast for this. And until they're able to just AI actors, which that sounds terrifying and scary, but respect it. Respect it. Technology, do your thing.
We heard that you were once in the corporate world.
I got my degree in finance. My dad was a financial planner his entire life. Worked with Lincoln Financial. Eventually wanted to live not 45 minutes from home and start his own business 5 minutes away from our house where we grew up and my parents still live. Finance was always the safe route. Growing up, I loved superheroes, loved comics. There was no real route for any of that unless you became an actor, which in Jacksonville, Florida is not really a thing. And the closest thing I ever had was going to summer camps and doing the theater things or joining the drama club or the set builder class. And I think one time there was one of those potentially fake Disney auditions, like traveling auditions to find like child actors.
Yes.
Which apparently I did okay. And because I was overweight, had braces and glasses, they said, just wait till you grow out of your braces and then get back in touch with us.
I'm sorry. Did you say you were overweight?
I was overweight, had braces and glasses.
We both can relate to his pre-description.
Yes. I didn't have braces. I didn't have glasses. I like to wear sunglasses, but I
And blue light filter glasses are great if you're gaming or on your computer a lot.
exactly. But I was considered overweight as a child. I was actually made fun of.
With that, I'm sure y'all can also relate. The personality that we have today is so inspired by who we were as kids, who maybe like we were afraid to be because of not being accepted, not being welcomed, not being able to fit in with either the cool kids or just friends in general. And I felt, at least for me, that I stifled so much of that personality in public spaces that now with the acting and the content creation, I get to be that every day, all day, and be really proud and confident in that. And it's definitely changed with who I am.
For me, I wasn't necessarily obese girl or chunky girl. I had other issues. I was just ugly. Like I'm literally.
You weren't ugly.
No, we did the episode. We showed my hideous photo.
Yeah, but you weren't ugly.
I was a very cute baby. And then when I went through puberty, I went through the awkward, ugly years.
Sure.
And I also grew up in a very, like, unfortunately racist and unwelcoming environment in the suburbs of New York. And it was really, I can actually empathize and understand kind of finding this other version of yourself later. How do you take what you went through and now finding this new version of yourself as you peel back the onion layers, right? Like in your creator/actor, creator, so, you know, whatever you want to call yourself, you are an interesting human being who does things that you love.
I've always been a rebel my entire life, always beat it to the tune of my own drum. And I've always loved fashion. And even though I moved into this kind of stodgy industry from, originally being in the entertainment world, starting at Electric Lady Studios, which is Jimi Hendrix's studio, to being signed to Warner, to being then in the digital world of the internet when it first started to proliferate. Found myself in finance because the finance industry all of a sudden wanted these alternative thinkers, these avant-garde type individuals that will come in and challenge the status quo. And that just happened to be me. And I had to find my path because all of a sudden I'm like challenging literally every preconceived notion. And just when it came to attire, I just refused to change.
To wear clothes.
Well, to wear clothes, number one.
Book talk.
Well, what's funny,
he forgot to wear clothes.
Well, we did talk about it on a pod one day that literally my favorite item of clothing is literally my birthday suit. If I could walk around naked every day, 247, I totally would. Listen, I love being naked.
If I could walk around barefoot, and maybe it's because of going to Maine since I was a little kid in the summers on the Rocky Coast, I would be barefoot every day, everywhere if I could.
So I used to be barefoot. I used to be barefoot. She's laughing.
I used to be once upon a time.
I used to be once upon a time until
now we're going into foot talk.
Until October.
Only feet.
Until October 2021, we are in Connecticut, and whenever we're in Connecticut, I would always walk around barefoot out in the grass. It was October. It was a gorgeous weekend. We were there. We had campfires and everything. I happened to have a cut in my foot because my feet were just dry from, it was like during COVID.
From being man feet.
Yeah, man feet, being barefoot inside. My foot was dry and like had a crack in it. And now I'm walking around outside in dewy grass. All of a sudden, my foot started to hurt a couple weeks later. And then my foot started to swell a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, sometimes that happens because, I'm running over something. And then all of a sudden, her sister and brother-in-law are in town. And they look at my foot like, you have an infection. They're all doctors.
As you can imagine.
Like, you have an infection. You have to get this taken, care of. End up going to City MD. They take a look at my foot. They said, you have a bad infection. They put me on antibiotics. Reach out to a podiatrist. And the podiatrist is in the office that day. She does a FaceTime video with me. First thing she says, oh my God, that's the worst infection I've ever seen.
So
it's during COVID. She's like, you have to go to the hospital immediately. Go to the hospital. And they told me that I had a severe staph infection. They were trying to figure out what it was.
You had a staph infection?
They were trying to figure out, was it?
We'll circle back.
Oh,
they're like,
no.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out, is it MRSA? So what is it? They're now pumping me with antibiotics, like vial after vial. My leg, my foot, just as you could just watch the redness starting to go up my foot, they were worried I was going into sepsis. So I went from literally like being this healthy dude, walking in dewy grass, with a cut in my foot to literally almost dying.
Sure.
They rushed me in for a quick MRI. Then the next morning, they performed a surgical procedure, completely drained my foot. It was a miserable experience.
It was terrible.
It was horrible. So I learned my lesson to basically walking around barefoot all the time.
It is tough. So to circle back, I'm so sorry you had to deal with staph. I also had a staph infection.
So what was your staph?
There's something called it's like a tightrope. But they're called slack lines. You might have seen them in Central Park or anywhere else. It's pretty much like a piece of canvas, almost like fire hose line that'll go between two trees. They gotta crank on one side.
Oh yeah.
It can either be super duper tight and people can like do the bouncing tricks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Or it can be super loose and they kind of do like more of the surfer walk. And I guess at one of the times that I was latching the tightrope to a tree, a box spider, which are not venomous on their own, but they carry a lot of bacteria and everything else. Apparently, when I was fixing the slack line, it crawled on this forearm, and I believe it's this spot right here that y'all can see.
You have a wolf spider bite.
Oh yeah, I'll have to tell that story. Like
that's crazy because I'm telling y'all right here, I think it was where the scarring is. I got a bite. A day or two later, I am sitting in class. I don't know how neither myself nor my parents saw it because I was in high school in Florida. I was wearing T-shirts. It's not like I was covering this arm.
Yeah.
This forearm apparently had swollen to like twice its size. And I'm sitting in class doing stuff. And one of my classmates is like, Jennings, are you okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they point out my forearm to me. And I haven't noticed it. And they're like, your forearm's really swollen. And I compare them, I was like, oh, this isn't good. So raised my hand, went to the nurse. Mom came and picked me up. I'm driven to one of the local walk-in clinic type places. And this guy decided to go extreme, worst comes to worst prognosis. He says, well, if you have a staph infection, it's possible you're going to lose your arm.
That's what they told me about my foot.
I am 15 or 16 years old.
Foot.
It is like before noon on like a Tuesday as I've been pulled out of class. Don't know if you experienced this. Did they give you like IVs overnight?
Oh, I was pumped up with multiple, like they were IV, like pumping it through my body so quickly. It was like literally IV after IV.
Did they ever give you one that like had not had enough time out of the fridge and actually made your body cold?
What? No.
Yes.
Oh, wait, is that why? Remember I was freezing?
Yes, that's possible.
Remember I kept saying I can't get warm, and they kept putting blankets.
I
were
hope
putting
they
blankets
didn't,
on me.
but I also hope that we had a similar story.
Oh.
But the nurses are supposed to take out the IVs out of the fridges to let them get to room temperature before they pump it, especially because they're pumping it into us.
Yeah.
At night, same. I could not get warm, and I like to sleep in the cold anyways with blankets. But when your body is literally
different
pumping
chill.
cold liquids through it,
and it's fighting an infection.
it's flushing. You can't stay warm. So I dealt with that. Luckily, a few days later, they were able to remove the super pus. Super fun.
So both of you almost died from
Almost lost a limb.
limbs.
When they removed it, did it like shoot out?
Oh yeah.
Ew,
oh yeah.
come
no,
on,
no.
Greg.
So they said 100%. They said observe it. Let us know if it ever pops or if like pus comes out. I'm in the shower, like shaking my hair or washing my hair or something, and I'm pretty sure my forearm bumps the wall, and that's when I felt a little doop. I was like a little. Sorry, I saw that.
No, you both are just so gross.
And I was like, I'm like, let me get a towel on. Call the nurse. I'm like, yeah, it's happening.
You handsome men next to me talking about spurting pus. Thanks,
pus.
guys.
You know what? The thing about spiders, though, when they bite you normally don't feel it because
I
they
didn't feel it. I had
because
no
the venom
idea.
they have a special.
Well, that bite is
numbing.
still scarred on you, right?
We're in the
Pennsylvania.
Poconos, in Pennsylvania, at a friend's place, and whenever we're there, it's funny. They when they buy me birthday gifts, they buy me fire, which is basically buying me wood.
See, I love that you said that. Shout out to my roommate Lonnie Martz. He is a pyro as I also am. For his birthdays, I buy him different really cool lighters.
Oh.
Like the super
Oh.
off the wall, like
Nice.
XC electric lightning,
We
like
know,
X-Cross.
we know Mr. Lonnie.
Yes,
We love Lonnie.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, Lonnie's very cool. It's
Very
cool.
Shout out, Lonnie Marsh. Lonnie
intellectual
IIV.
comedian.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
and so we went out to. I was getting wood from outside, out of the wood pile, and like I'm always looking to make sure there's no spiders because that's where spiders like to hang out. And so I'm like stacking wood, literally
Yep.
like a mounds like this. I walk back inside, I like place all the wood down on the mantle, throw some logs into the fire, and like an hour later, I think you had mentioned, what's that on your arm?
Yeah, I'm like, what is
I had
that?
this round circle and two fang marks right there.
Well, listen, the long story short here is if you find the quote love of your life, she sticks around for spraying pus
The ups and downs.
and the non-divorce situation.
Yes, and the non-divorce situation.
Yeah.
So what's happening?
What a champion.
Exactly.
What, do you have that type of
But I'm like, no, I'm like the
love
million.
in your life?
No, I don't.
Why?
Great question. Let me start by saying this. Therapy is wonderful, everybody. Even if you don't think you need it, I suggest you
I am
try.
a huge,
Right?
huge supporter of therapy.
Yeah. I had a my first long-term relationship, first and last, unfortunately, was in college. We dated for about 2 to 3 years. We met via cheerleading. Most of the relationship was really, really great.
You were a cheerleader?
I was a cheerleader.
Nice.
I was. I coached at a place called Tallahassee Community College in Tallahassee, Florida, and I had some super strong female bases. And they're like, Coach Jennings, let us put you up. And I'm like, no.
That's not happening.
I'm like, I put people up. I don't get put up. And they're like, please trust us. Let us put you up. And I ended up conceding and saying yes. And they just had me here at their chest height, which was maybe like 5. Terrifying. And they put me to extension. And I'm sitting there just like, I now understand the concept of pulling up through your shoulders, holding everything super tight. Because you got to think about it. If you have a baseball bat, you can pretty easily like keep it balanced.
Sure.
If you had a wet noodle, there's no chance.
The therapy has been great.
Therapy's been fantastic.
Have you so I'm actually a believer in therapy since before I went through my divorce. And then it was really critical for me to provide it for my daughter.
Sure.
I got divorced when she was very young. Like, I thought, okay, I'm done with therapy. But I've been actually thinking about going back to therapy
Yeah.
to actually just manage my balance when it comes to being a mom of a teenager while I have all like high expectations of myself to be a better
Sure.
mother. And I'm realizing maybe I should go back to therapy because I paused it for a little bit.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
well, what has it done for you?
So the relationship ended, I believe, looking back, because we were just in two different chapters of life. She graduated college a year before I did because I was an exchange student after high school. So I actually started college a year later than I was normally going to. She moved to a different state for the first time in her life, living outside of a different state. I'd already been an exchange student living abroad. Got the job of her dreams. And I think she was in a place where it was like, oh, there's so much more outside of my Florida bubble that I know and I'm comfortable in. I need to start this on my own. And I think that was the conversation that I don't think she knew how to have. It felt like it went a little bit more of the, well, maybe I just need to be dry and unloving and mean almost. Almost want to describe it as like when you're in kindergarten. If you're mean to somebody, it's either because you like them or you want them to not like you.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately went into that space where I think one of the things I had heard that really told me where the tide was going was, I don't know what to do or how to treat you to get you to not like me anymore. And I'm like, like, we've been saying love for like a whole year and a half. That's crazy. So long story short, it ended when we were in two separate places, ended over the phone. And right as I was going through like final exams and stuff, which is not to say that I was the most perfect boyfriend ever, even though I think I tried to. I think that's one of the things that probably also scared her off because she had had bad relationships before me. So there's a lot of variables that I'm in no way, shape, or form saying she's a terrible person. In no way. I think it was very much two different chapters of life, and neither
She
of
was
us,
on a different journey.
and neither of us knew how to
than you
communicate
were.
the way that we probably could have now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my big push to start pursuing acting and a creative space. So that's what got me to go to New York. When I went to New York, I knew if I was going to make acting work, I wanted to be in Los Angeles, but I knew that I had to give kind of an uncapped amount of time to New York to really get started because I was 23, 24, starting in an industry that I'd been doing the polar opposite of for the past 4 or 5 years. So knowing how hard I typically fall if I do give my heart to someone, which has happened one time. She was the one person I've ever really told I've loved, and that means a lot for me. And I knew I wanted to be in LA, so I didn't want to start any kind of relationship.
Yep.
Knowing that I was going to be going to LA at some point.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have the idea of like a perfect significant other. Obviously you guys found each other. Good for y'all. I know that for me, I was fighting the idea of what is my type? What is my perfect kind of girl? For me specifically, like I would love to find somebody who's athletic. If they have a faith base, does not have to be Christian. I'm Christian, but I'm of the mindset that as long as they believe in something and they have love at the center of their being, that is really all that matters to me. And I think for all of humanity, I hope. I'm a big fan, especially after my year abroad, of people who are from other places. I would love it if she was bilingual, with English maybe not being the first language. So, one day when we have kids, they can grow up learning more than one language, which I think is super
I think
cool.
that's a great idea.
I
love dating women where English isn't their primary language and they can barely speak the language. So when they're yelling at me, I don't really understand what they're saying.
You're just like, yeah, you are so hot. You are just, wow. I can feel the passion of what you're saying, babe. And I love you too.
I love you too. Exactly.
me being the first traditional format of a woman that he's ever been with.
I love how you said format. Right. But to answer your question, I am someone that is a little bit of the hopeless
Sounds
romantic.
like you want someone to spice up your world.
Yeah, got spice for
Gotta have
real.
spice.
I mean,
I know there's a lot of people that don't necessarily believe in love at first sight or maybe that really huge feeling of romance or fairy tale. I do believe that you can be attracted to people along the journey. I am in a place where I feel like I don't necessarily want to have a hoe phase. That's something I talked to my roommate Lonnie a lot about. I don't want to have a hoe phase, meaning like I'm seeing multiple people a week per se. I like to consider my idea of hooking up where I'm like playing like Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. I would much rather have one person that I'm like hooking up with for a while.
Sure.
And then at a certain point, either if like feelings start to happen or if we just say, hey, this has been really fun, sayonara. But I communicate all of those expectations and intentions from the get-go.
babe, do you remember when we played that game with my family over Christmas? And there was like, it was
yes.
like the voting game or whatever.
Oh my God, the voting game.
Yeah, we played
Sure
it.
have.
Yes.
We have a lot of the tabletop card games for friends.
Stupid games, right? That we
Yes.
keep in our cupboard. Right? Like it's a judgy game
It is
to play with your
indeed.
family.
Yeah, it is.
And one of the cards that came up was, oh, the person who has like dated the most people. Everybody fucking voted for me. I'm actually technically the most innocent, but I did date 13 guys in college. But that was
Now,
over
is that
for some
dating
very
official?
short.
Like boyfriend, girlfriend?
No,
That's my
I got,
question.
I got bored.
Okay.
And I'm a Gemini. I got a little bored.
I'll tell you,
and
I don't know what Gemini means.
Gemini means.
I know I'm a Sagittarius, that's all I know.
Oh, you. Oh,
But my moon
Same as
sign
our
is,
daughters.
my moon
Shit.
sign is a water. It's a Cancer. So apparently fire and water is a crazy combo.
Yes, yes, very crazy. That's why we're having great conversation.
yeah.
It
Sweet.
makes sense. So, Gemini, we tend to be fickle.
Okay.
Some of us are two-faced. I'm not two-faced.
Okay.
I'm
As
just.
far as I can tell.
I mean,
She's Jekyll and Hyde, but she's definitely not two-faced.
yeah, no, I understand where you are. Like,
Yeah.
you want to explore. You want to figure out what you like and don't like.
Yeah. You said in the long run, you don't want someone to stick with you if they're excited,
Well,
but you're
loving
not
shouldn't
excited.
be hard.
Of course. Sure.
It shouldn't be.
There's a difference between
Perspective.
hard conversations and difficult conversations.
It's like we love each other so much, and I feel so lucky that I haven't had a chance to find a life partner for the second time in my life because I was married before.
Right.
What I think I've learned about myself is you can't just be happy. You have to actually work a little bit at making that happiness.
And I love that. And that's my thing is I want to meet somebody, and whether that's going to be on set or on one of the dating apps, I will gladly tell my mom I met you on Tinder or Hinge or Bumble, future lover.
One of them, yes. So did the challenges start to happen in the relationship when all of a sudden now you're acting and she sees you kissing the love interest on a daily basis on the movies that you're in?
No. I was 100% pursuing finance, like ready to
They
chase
might
her
do
to
more
this
than
date.
that.
It's true.
One of the reasons that I am kind of staying married to the career, which is one of the things I've been saying for the past 7 years, is because I want to not feel hindered if I'm going to a casting or an audition and I either have to kiss somebody or the movie's going to have a sex scene or something.
It's why I gave up acting.
Is it?
I was actually signed on by production house and everything. And then I got married. And my ex, who was my husband at the time, he did not like me in some of those. I
something
couldn't
where-
pursue my career.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
gave it up.
I gave it up, so I
Actually
gave it
did
up
a
too.
hard
though. I mean,
give up.
Jennings needs to learn about our OnlyFans account. We haven't started it yet,
Hell
but we've
yeah.
been talking about it.
Nice.
He's been saying this,
Nice.
like, we're
There's
like-
a market for it.
We're like 80 like videos into this show, and you keep saying it OnlyFans.
Well, I'm building buzz
He's
for when we
building
actually
the
create
buzz.
it. Exactly.
Absolutely.
You never realize people
you know
probably
what?
check every day.
We're gonna do an OnlyFans account for his
Good.
feet
Yes.
because I know chicks
We
who
were
like
told
men's feet.
that is
Have
true.
Have you searched for y'all's names? There are sites where you can see what your feet have been rated. Mine are apparently actually nice. I'm like, I got hobbit feet. I got wide feet. I wear 13s not because they're long, because they're wide. And I've got hair like hobbits. And I'm like, my feet are rated some higher than some of my female content creator friends. I'm like, go me. Yeah. I grew up in the South. I grew up in a very, very straight edge family. You know, like don't have sex or do drugs or try alcohol.
Yeah.
And even with my rules that I had, which was wait until after high school. There's obviously like many Christians or Southerners that are like, you better wait till marriage or you are going to double hockey because I already cosplay Lucifer. I'm already there. I get it.
You said you're Christian.
Yep.
Today's a holiday. Today's an Indian holiday.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting here. I'm like, what am I being a bad Christian? What holiday have I
No,
forgot?
No.
it's an
Happy
Indian
holiday. What's the
Yeah.
holiday?
It's holy. It's the festival of colors.
Yes.
Colors.
Yes.
Colors.
I'm so
always
sorry.
in colors.
We are so sorry
Oh yeah,
for
you
what
guys
we
aren't in it.
decided.
It's okay. I'm in colors.
We decided to match today.
I'm in colors. It's
Well,
all
I
good.
figure we're gonna smash each other with colors later.
Are you gonna spray me in multiple colors?
Whatever
Yes.
that means,
Yes.
I'm clapping for it. Whatever it means, I'm clapping for it.
Kum and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
So
we're
it's
gonna
it's,
do
it's
that.
a fascinating holiday because it's you basically cover yourselves with your actual natural body with color.
yeah.
that's
You
so
spray each other with
cool.
color.
Yeah. So-
It's fun. It's festive, but I think
Are y'all gonna get a really big like hotel fee for that bathroom?
yeah, it's gonna be
Exactly.
really colorful in here after you leave, Jennings. You know.
Like I'm just happy to help warm up the space. That's cool by me.
So speaking of color,
Yeah.
any colorful stories that you could share with us? A little bit of juice
That's true.
from sets.
yeah.
From
Have you done it?
sets.
Have you done a sex scene before?
Yeah, actually. It was
What
on.
was that? Did they do the towel thing? Like
We did. It was 100% like the covers where I was like wearing a pair of gym shorts.
Yeah.
Oh.
We used the sheets and the covers, so it was pretty much a comedy called Bumbled. I think it's on. I don't know if it's on Prime Video. I know for a fact it's on YouTube, but it was picked up by another streaming service. I'm in one of the first 2 seasons, and it was just a comedy. Like I was playing the hot guy, that is actually terrible in bed, but he thinks he's good in bed, which is just a hilarious combination.
Oh.
I would have a problem being a character that plays like not, someone who's not very good in bed.
Because you're so good at it.
I'm so good at it.
How can you play bad?
It's like I can't even fathom.
I'm looking over here, I'm looking to the fact checker like,
Greg is like, this is blasphemy.
I'll be like, I'm doing the best I can at being bad. They're like, but it's so good.
but it's so good. Damn it, Greg.
Damn it.
Greg, relax. Greg. So I finished a movie in Australia called Bring Him to Me.
Ooh, we're in Australia. Did you guys shoot?
We were stationed on the Gold Coast. Not a bad place to be hanging out. I got to play like the main bad person's right-hand man, which I'm really excited about. I'm, if y'all can't tell, a very delusional, optimist, golden retriever, positive human being in my day-to-day. I love playing villains though. Because
so you're part of the antagonist crew.
Yeah, and it's what kind of got me to start cosplaying Lucifer Morningstar from Netflix. And he's a little more anti-hero. He's a little more like Deadpool anti-hero, not so much villain. But there's that dark, suave side to him, and villains tend to have a dark, suave side. Filming in Brisbane, super awesome. I got to go visit Cairns, which is northern Australia, where they have more of the rainforest, and I got to go to Melbourne and Sydney as well. And
did you climb
so
the
cool.
Sydney Bridge?
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
That was awesome. They are so strict.
I led the whole pack.
Did you?
I have no fear of like heights. It's weird.
I'm going to India on Thursday for a buddy's wedding.
Oh, nice.
You really?
What part of India?
Yeah. Flying to New Delhi, and then we are going to be in Udaipur.
Is it a multi-day wedding? Changes during the day as well?
So yes, it's going to be 2 full days with I think 3 events per day, which I'm really excited about. I definitely was hoping for like the full-on multi 3-4 day type thing, but they're like, no, they are super packing these 2 days. I told them like I want to wear the traditional garb. I want to buy it so I can bring it back as well.
Oh my God, you have to send us photos after.
I gladly will.
Great.
I'd love to see that.
Here's an interesting thing. I am doing all my research that I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to post TikToks while I'm there because TikTok is banned in India because of the issues they had.
That's new.
No, I think it's like a year or 2 ago.
TikTok is actually my least favorite.
Sure.
Like because I think there's a lot of just garbage content out there and garbage followers.
Oh, there is. I make some of that garbage content.
But like no, like the followers are also like garbage, right?
Absolutely.
Like
I don't
it's
read
just
comments.
like but Instagram and Facebook we have like quite a traction, and then YouTube is where we have spent most of our time.
I love TikTok and I love what it's done for me in my life. But I think Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, they're not going anywhere. People can, talk trash about Facebook and whatever, but it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
And there's while there are some people that use all the platforms, there are some people that are only on Facebook and will only see your content on Facebook.
Kind of the pod, we could be a little more of like an SNL type environment as well. But build some skits into it. For us, this is something that we get to contribute together.
That's interesting, actually. Like, because you describe sort of someone who can empathize or at least be understanding of what you have to do in your craft.
Well, think about this. Think about how many people would say, "Oh no, I'm not creative at all." But in reality, you can be raised with certain social norms or whatever else, but it's still you with your willpower every day figuring out how you work your day your best, how you organize your day your best, how you raise kids, how you make friends and go about your life and present yourself. All of that is creative. That's where I think for me, like going out with friends, playing pickleball, playing whatever, me and my friend just filmed a skit. We went back a second day for pickleball to film a skit that we thought of the day before while playing pickleball because I pretended to be a pickleball ball boy, which again, if we played pickleball, the nets are super low.
I feel like it's gaining steam because I'm starting to hear it more and more from people like loving to play
does
pickleball.
Does it require less space to play it?
Yeah. So if you have a single tennis court, you can have 4 pickleball courts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you can play doubles and stuff too.
Nice. Do you guys remember the guy on TV, Bill Nye, the science guy?
Of course, Bill Nye,
right?
the science
So
guy.
he's capitalized capitalized on short form content because he, being a scientist, he understands how the mind works and the attention span of his audience, and always created short segments. And now he's apparently, I was just reading about him the other day, he's now thriving in this environment of short form content, and he's basically been like a leader before people were even really creating short form content. Yes.
Steve from Blue's Clues Has made a reappearance on social media, and
I
everyone
found him
loves
so
his stuff.
annoying. Some
Well, of
things
course,
that
for
need
a
to go
kids
away.
show, you've got to.
Blue's
I think I've only seen
Clues
Blue's Clues,
and
like, once or
Barney
twice.
need to
Yeah.
go away.
Oh, Barney's
I
back.
am
Barney's making a
sorry.
comeback,
I
and it's
heard.
terrifying.
Yeah.
It's
They're
scary.
animated.
It's an animated version,
No,
yes.
I can't.
I never,
was,
yes.
I was so happy when the kid outgrew that shit. No.
Lonnie
No.
asked me the other day, he said, why am I so intent about recycling? Because I will go through our trash cans and put recycling things in the recycling bin. I'm like, because Barney scared me bad enough to do so.
Do you know who the Fresh Beat Band is?
Oh, yeah.
The fresh what?
Beat band.
The fresh beat. No.
Thank God. See, I knew.
The
I
Fresh
knew.
Beat
Like,
Band?
no.
The fresh beat?
It's
Is that
time
like Veggie
to get up
Tales?
and go.
Like
to
from
the
Nickelodeon?
Go.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I was not a fresh beat band. I was not a Wiggles kid. I was.
Thank God.
No,
Well,
I
he's
was
too
I
old
was,
to know who the Fresh Beat Band is. That's
I was
why.
VeggieTales.
The only reason why I know the Fresh Beat Band exists is because of my daughter, who's
Sure.
12 now, but she used to love the Fresh Beat Band. And so I found out about the Fresh Beat Band through her, because this isn't something that was around when we were kids.
Right.
This is only a band that's been around for the last 15 years, maybe
16 years ago.
16. Yeah, but you weren't a child at that point, so.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
14,
He was
15,
14.
14.
Fresh Beat Band is more like when you're like 7.
Sure.
8. I found the Teletubbies to be a little
God.
freaky.
The only thing I liked about that was that, I mean, it creeped me out as well. Freaking Laughing Baby sound was terrifying. But they did have an oatmeal machine. And I'm like, dang. If I could just have like hot, fresh oatmeal at all times, just I'd be stoked.
I think we've just learned so much from you in this episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with us and our audience?
Yeah. Understanding that a lot of us have to work 9 to 5s or jobs that we don't necessarily love, whether it's supporting ourselves, supporting our family, supporting our schoolwork, our studies. If you have a hobby, something that you're really passionate about, or you really want to give it a chance, ask yourself the question, if I'm in my deathbed, what is one thing that I will regret if I never tried it? And start to give some time. Allocate 30 minutes, 5 minutes a day to doing it. And as you get better at it and maybe start putting it out there or whatever that looks like, give more and more time to it, because I can promise you that your dreams can become a reality. And there's a way to make that happen. These guys are doing podcasting while they work the normal 9 to 5s. They're making it possible. So please don't give up on what you love and what you think you would enjoy doing and are passionate about. Even if it starts with 5 minutes a day,
Yeah.
really give that, because you never know what that can turn into. As long as you're not giving up, there are no real failures. If anything, they might not be a big old capital in Spotlight's W,
Yeah.
but it might be a small little funny chicken scratch cursive W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily feel like a big W, but it's a learning lesson, because even if you fall off the bike and never get on a bike again, maybe go pick up rollerblading, maybe go pick up something else,
Right.
because you're like, okay, well, that didn't work out, but let me take what I learned and
That's
put
a
it somewhere
great
else.
point. That's a great
So-
point. I think you both really just made such great points.
One last thing.
Oh, you want one more thing?
I heard a rumor that, though, you're going to be at the Oscars or some Oscar-based event coming up this year.
So there's an event tomorrow morning. I got to go to the Oscars nominations, which was really cool a few weeks ago, and that was amazing. What's really funny about it is I had to be there at 3:30 a.m. in a full suit, because they were going based off of East Coast time, not West Coast, but it was being filmed in West Coast.
3:30
interesting.
a.m.
Yeah.
That's
So imagine
that's
waking up
quite
at
early.
2 a.m., put on like a very fancy Oscars dress or a very fancy Oscars suit.
Did you even go to bed or just stay up all
I
night?
did.
You
I did. I went to bed, I think,
Like
by
7 p.m.?
9. I think it was like 9 p.m., which is early for me. But yes, tomorrow morning I'm going to something called the Oscars red carpet rollout, which I think is just them setting up the red carpet for the Oscars. And I think myself and a handful of creators get to kind of walk the carpet for the first time.
Okay.
That's so
Yeah.
That's great.
exciting.
That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes.
We're so excited for you.
Thanks, guys.
What a journey.
Absolutely.
So you went from like finance to red carpet. Look at that.
God is good.
And like
It can happen, guys.
The real red
That
carpet
can
too.
happen.
Yeah. Yes.
It is
yes,
very
that
possible.
can happen.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for having me today,
Oh, this
guys.
has been fun.
Thank
This has been a
you.
lot of
Good
fun.
one.
Where can people find you?
Follow me everywhere at Jennings Brower and follow Got Spice everywhere, or else I'll find you.